afternoon. A leading loyalist prisoner has been shot dead at the top security Maze prison in Northern Ireland. Billy Wright, nicknamed King Rat, was shot in the back 5 times by Republican inmates. 3 men are now under arrest. Harry Smith reports.
Billy Wright, pictured here before being sentenced to 8 years in the Maze, was one of the most feared of the loyalist paramilitaries. The attack which ended his life is believed to have taken place near the prison's visitors centre, which is used by both loyalist and Republican inmates. Prison sources say 3 prisoners belonging to the Republican Irish National Liberation Army surrendered themselves without a struggle after the shooting, and 2 guns were recovered. The shooting, coming after the escape earlier this month of an IRA prisoner, has led to calls for resignation.
I think now, after the escape of Liam Averill and the shooting of a prisoner within the prison, that it is both time for the Secretary of State and the head of the prison service, Mr. Lauren Shannon, to resign.
Wright, who survived murder attempts before, spoke some time ago of his view of violence.
And of course, now that we've all come to the conclusion that talk is the only way forward, we also understand that the IRA knew that many, many years ago. So in effect, had common sense prevailed many years ago, no deaths would have taken place.
An inquiry is already underway into how guns were smuggled into the prison. Security forces are also bracing themselves for the possibility of revenge attacks. Harry Smith, ITN.
Thousands of homes are still without power for the 4th day running. Repair work is going on round the clock, but many people are furious with their electricity companies, who admit it's taking longer than expected to restore supplies. Worst hit are Cheshire and North Wales, from where Adrian Beattie reports.
The vast majority of ManWeb's customers are now reconnected, but for some, it's day 4 without power.
The neighbours have been very good, because we're all electric, no gas at all. So we've had no heating, no water, nothing at all.
Last night, just 800 customers remained cut off, but overnight more weakened poles collapsed and cables snapped. Around 2,000 people, mostly in North Wales, now have no electricity.
We're trying very hard to get them back on supply. That's our first important job, if you like. We're also trying wherever possible to use generation to get special needs customers back on, nursing homes, looking at hospitals.
For the repair crews too, it hasn't been a Merry Christmas.
Well, I haven't seen my wife and kids for a few days now. I've only been home to sleep, that's all.
ManWeb hopes everyone will be reconnected by tonight. After that, they can expect a flood of compensation claims. Adrian Beattie, ITN, Wrexham.
Bargain hunters are out in force today as the winter sales get into full swing. High streets are packed as stores are slashing prices dramatically in the hope of making up for poor pre-Christmas business. Government plans to order drug addicts to have treatment have been attacked as inadequate. The probation service says it's unable to properly supervise the scheme aimed at addicts who steal to buy drugs. Windsor Castle has today reopened its doors for the first time since the devastating fire 5 years ago. People can now visit the castle's royal staterooms, restored to their former glory at a cost of over £36 million. From Windsor, here's Lauren Taylor.
The queues began early for the first visits to a fully restored Windsor Castle. St George's Hall was one of 9 state apartments destroyed or severely damaged in the fire which burned for 15 hours 5 years ago. Now it's open to tourists again. Some parts were restored, others, like the oak roof, were completely rebuilt.
I came, after the fire and saw all the charred remains and everything. It's absolutely spectacular what they've done in 5 years.
We saw the fire and I wept. So outside the castle crying, and now look at it.
I think it's much prettier now than it was, even before it was so dark.
The rooms may look like the original ones, but hidden amongst all this splendour is a highly sophisticated laser-operated fire alarm system. It's been fitted throughout Windsor Castle at the cost of around £15 million. So traditional craftsmanship disguises what should protect this work for future generations. Lauren Taylor, ITN, Windsor.
That's all for now. I'll be back at 5:20. Till then, goodbye.
Hello, good afternoon. It's a bright and breezy day, and if you're out and about around the sales in Cardiff, for example, like many other places, then you should manage to hopefully dodge those showers, because there is a lot of sunshine around today, more or less throughout the country. We've also got showers, though, whistling to exposed northern and western parts, wintry showers on the higher ground, hail, sleet and snow thrown in. Now, overnight, these tend to die away and it ought to become clear and cold. In fact, a lot colder than it has been of late, with temperatures dipping close to freezing by the early hours, and so icy stretches to watch out for on those roads, especially where there have been some late showers. So do watch out for these. That's all from me. Join me later if you can for a weather update.
Power gen, generating electricity whatever the weather.
Coral's famous